Roger, we are green light for extraction. Ammo weapons resupply inbound. Lies on HVT, going loud.
Frequency change approved. Proceed direct.
Hey guys, Special Ops M4 here. Today I'm at Code Red Airsoft Park and I'm going to be doing a review of the Javelin M4 CQB rifle. Before we get started, I want to give a thank you to my sponsor, AirSplat.com, for making this review possible. Now let's get started. Once again, this is the Javelin M4 CQB rifle. Right off the bat, when I took it out of the box, I could tell that it was a very solid feeling rifle, and it's not quite what I expected. The rail system has virtually no wobble in it, and so does the stock. It's an electric blowback system, which means that every time you pull the trigger, your fake bolt cycles back and forth. Before we go any further, I'm going to state the specs on the box about this gun. It says that it shoots anywhere from 350 to 380 FPS, and it does about 700 to 850 RPM. With a 10.5 inch barrel, this is more of your CQB style rifle instead of a field rifle, though it can reach out to about 150 feet. I'll list the good things to note about this rifle. When you get it out of the box, it does come with your orange flash hider, but they do include a black metal flash hider. So that's something I really do appreciate, and not a lot of companies do that. Another cool feature about this is the functioning bolt catch and bolt release. You see right here, I pull back the charging handle, your bolt comes back, press on the ping pong paddle, release it, push forward, your bolt's now locked. To release it, just press the ping pong paddle like normal, and it releases. Very solid sounding. The Javelin does have a plastic body, but honestly, I haven't found anything bad about plastic bodies. It's a very, very hard ABS plastic, and you know, I've had plastic body guns in the past, and they're really honestly not that bad. The only difference between that and the metal is that they're probably a little bit heavier, but for all intents of airsoft purposes, you know, there's nothing wrong with the plastic body. As for longevity with the Javelin, I really haven't heard of anything coming back, you know, a month or two after someone's bought it with, you know, with a misfeeding hop up or a chipped gear, you know, or a stripped piston. I've never really heard anything about that. So as for the internals, you know, I think they're rock solid as well. Another thing that I look for in all my rifles when I buy them are crisp selector switches, and this one really does have one. I'll show you right here. You know, you're in safe right now, and you can really hear that tactile click into semi and auto, and you really know that you're not going to come out of that selection right there, and you're not going to go into full auto when you're only in a semi-auto game or something like that. So it's really important to me to have those little tiny details like that, but it makes the gun, you know, all that better. It's also important to note that this gun is LiPo ready out of the box, so no modifications are needed to use a LiPo battery. And today in all of our testings, I'll be using an 11-1 LiPo battery. Trigger response and accuracy are better than something you would expect in this price range. For only $220, you get a crisp trigger response, and you get great accuracy out to about 150 to 180 feet. Here's a quick demo of the trigger response. As you can see, that was pretty good. The LiPo also helps increase the rate of fire. I'll demonstrate. And this one really, for its value, is honestly one of the better rifles I've ever seen. You know, this really compares up to like a VFC or a KWA. So I would definitely go with this. If you know, this is a great beginner and mid-level airsofter choice. I mean, I've never touched a Javelin gun before this, and I was very, very, very impressed with this. It kind of, you know, exceeded my expectations, to say. With the electric blowback system, you do feel a little bit of recoil, and it just gives you the extra amount of realism that you really want. Some things to note about the rifle that I found different than normal rifles. When I went to go try to put a mock suppressor on this, I took off the 14mm counterclockwise flash hider, but I found that both of my suppressors that I tried would not thread onto this, and they were both 14mm counterclockwise. So that's something to actually note. I'm not sure if this was just my model or if this is all Javelins, but both would not work on the threads. The stock here is a little bit different than your normal LE or crane stock. It's kind of a hybrid of both. It does have a rail on this side, but not on the other. It's a little bit thicker than a standard LE stock, but it's not quite a crane stock. They tried to do these little ribbed designs right here to kind of fatten the overall profile of the stock, to kind of make it touch your cheek weld a little bit better. And they did add a butt pad, which does help. But I'm not really a fan of this stock totally. I kind of like the standard LE, the standard crane stock, but this does include the same capabilities as a crane stock, which is battery storage. So if you do pull back the butt plate right here, you can see that it does have battery storage in the stock. It does not have a sling attachment point right here underneath the buffer tube. The two sling attachment points are one below the rail system in the front and on the stock. So if you are a guy who likes the one-point slings, you might have to go buy another a sling attachment plate right here and install it yourself. Something that you don't see on all rifles out of the box is an enhanced trigger guard. This one has a little bit more of a swooped trigger guard to allow with better gloved fingers if you're using gloves with this gun. It allows you to get your hand in there really well. This is kind of the bare bones stock version of how I'd run this rifle. I will show you in a minute how I would actually prefer to run this rifle with a few optics and accessories to kind of make it more personable and more user-friendly. Being that it is an M4, you're really lucky. You get one of the most versatile rifles in airsoft right now. I think it's the most widely produced, and it comes with the most capability. It has the most accessories and everything to it. I'll just go over a few right now that could interest you. You have everything from different stocks to different flash hiders to different sighting options, batteries, even a grenade launcher. Like I said, I like to run this crane stock right here. This is kind of my personal favorite. Another option would be the standard LE stock for that kind of rifle. That's another option right there. I have the Magpul rail ladders right here. That's kind of what I like to run. A flash hider. This is the standard bird cage, and yes, the Javelin does come with a black flash hider. But you don't always have to use this kind of flash hider. You can go with a different one that kind of utilizes a quick detach for a for a suppressor system. Different batteries. I think that's important. The Javelin came with an 8.4 volt. I would never recommend to use an 8.4 volt. They're too weak. The lowest I think I would go for this kind of rifle, if it's LiPo ready like it is, I would go with a 9.6 like this. That's really the most kind of versatile. It gives you a lot of power. It gives you a lot of battery life. Vertical grips or front foregrips. There's a lot available, really. I mean, this is the AFG 2 by Magpul. You saw the Magpul RVG on there. This is kind of more of your standard style vertical grip. Pretty cheap on this one. Then I have a mag up here because the high cap that it comes with is great, but I actually don't like to run high caps. I like to run these Magpul P mags. They're very solid. They're a little bit more on the expensive side, but go check out AirSplat. They have those on there, and they're pretty cool. They're really the performance that's packed in those is actually great. Sighting options, I have two right here. These are kind of the two main competitors of each other. This is an EOTech and this is an Aimpoint. They're just different. One's a hologram type of sight, and the other one's just a projected red dot. So it's you get into a long debate about that, but for airsoft it doesn't really matter, especially replicas. Suppressor systems, like I talked about here, be careful with the Javelin because I'm not sure if it was just my model or not, but the suppressor did not thread on there. Both this kind of suppressor and the AAC style that has the quick disconnect right here. So you can see that's also a 14mm counterclockwise thread, and that didn't work either. So be a little wary about that. And finally, if you're going crazy, grenade systems. Grenade launcher right here. This is just a standard M203 that can fit on the bottom rail. It's the shorter version, so it's meant for a CQB. But this is kind of an interesting thing to have, and it's really a game changer in airsoft. I've added a few attachments to this M4. They make it a bit more personable for me. I'll go over my choices right now just so you guys know. I like to run EOTechs, so this is an EOTech XPS that's riding on top. Like I said earlier, I prefer the standard crane stock style, so I do run a soft mod crane stock on all my M4s, and this is just one from another one. Don't mind the Garmin Fortrex on there. Another thing I like to run are Magpul rail ladders, or any rail cover for that reason. I think it's smart just to have them on there. Magpul rail ladders are pretty low profile, so you can kind of keep the protection on there from the rails in your hands, but keeping it low profile and lightweight. I run a small one on the bottom just so when I put my hand under the vertical grip, it doesn't hurt the top of my hand, and when I use the side right here, the side grip, it doesn't hurt this side. I keep these two sides bare. If I'm running a night game, then I put a flashlight on this side, but I don't run too many night games actually. And vertical grips, I like the Magpul RVG. It's a very small, lightweight, compact little vert grip, and it does what it's supposed to do. Something to go over, if any of you who are interested in buying a weapon like this are mil-sim or impressionists, this kind of rifle, this CQB is really your base build for an MK18 or Mod 0 rifle. So this is a really versatile gun. You can get a lot of not only good performance out of it, but you can get some really good looks out of it as well. If we're going to compare this to my actual rifle that I use, this is a VFC MK18. There are very few differences between this and the Javelin, and you can get your Javelin looking like this very, very cheaply. Just a sight on top, your mock suppressor and a rail system. This is a 9-inch Animal Defense rail system and a crane stock, and you've got yourself a really good looking MK18 with a paint job of your choice. That type of rifle, that CQB Javelin did a great job because they put a lot of performance into it, and they made it, you know, very performance ready with the lipo, and you know, they also put a lot of looks into it. So it's very sturdy, and it's a great gun to build off of to make something like this out of. So right now we're gonna go take this to the chrono station, and we're gonna show you guys what the actual FPS is opposed to what the box says. Once again, we'll be using an 11.1 lipo with 0.20 gram BBs. Okay guys, just want to do a little impromptu, closing part of the video here. I was starting to interrupt the gameplay by being on that field any longer, and plus I had to go. But just want to say a few things about the gun before I leave. Something that I can leave you guys with. This is really a great gun for anyone in the the beginner or the middle. Even some greater players. They can, this is a very good gun to start with, and then start adding stuff to, and really making it your own. And it's something that I'm confident in telling you guys that it's a good gun for what the money is. It's the chrono reading. That was a little skewed, only because I think the hop up was up way too high. I actually hadn't checked the hop up before I made the chronoing part of the video, so I do apologize about that. It is a bit closer to about 350. So great CQB gun, great gun to build off of. Like I was saying, all your possible accessories, because it is an M4. So if you guys do like this rifle, make sure to check it out on AirSplat.com. It's on there right now for $230, and there's more in-depth information on there. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.